You're welcome back. Now, an 85 European Union mission observer team is in the country to assess proceedings before, during, and after the elections. The aim here is to ensure that they keep their eyes and ears on the ground. And addressing the media today, the chief observer, Tomas Masaryk, explained that his team will be ensuring international rules, of elections are observed.
Mission teams out in the different regions in the country, at least one team in each region, and they have already started their observation activities.
I'm glad you said you've already started. What have been their assessments so far?
What we could do preliminarily, of course, is evaluating or at least scrutinizing the legal framework, and we're fully satisfied that the legal framework conforms to all the international standards that are important benchmarks. So as long as the elections are held according to the law in Ghana, this should be absolutely satisfactory.
Is there anything from our past elections in your recommendations prior to this one we're about to have that you are critically going to look at for these elections?
The most important elements are issues of transparency. We believe that transparency at every stage of the election process, not just at the polling day, is one of the most important safeguards. This is one of the best guarantees for the acceptance of the results and therefore for a peaceful resolution to political conflict through the ballot box. So we have all sorts of transparency recommendations. Some of them are easily are easy to carry out. Some others would require, for example, legal action, and of course every country is different in how legislation can be brought about in that. So,
and are you embedded with any of the observer missions in the country currently?
This is an independent observation mission. We do our own logistics, for example. We do our own liaison with the administrative authorities at every level. So no, we're not embedded in it with any other team.
Right, so let's see how this plays out. They're here, they are monitoring developments with just some days to go. Preparations are underway. We know which individuals will make it onto the ballot box, the ballot paper, I beg your pardon, for the presidential and parliamentary elections. Still staying with elections, the General Secretary of the National Association of Charismatic and Christian Churches, Bishop Titiofe, is asking Ghanaians not to vote for any politician who uses violence as the means of settling scores. Bishop Titiofe became famous for his write-up titled "From Bole Bamboy to Chebi, From Chebi to Bole Bamboy, It is Far, Yet I Can't Think Far." In his peace message ahead of the 2016 polls, he says that violent politicians don't deserve to rule this country.
We cry for peace.
My name is Bishop Titiofe, the presiding bishop of the Pleasant Place Church and the general secretary of the National Association of Charismatic and Christian Churches. Fellow Ghanaians, very soon we're going to have an election to elect who will lead this country for the next 4 years. We have chosen the path of democracy because we are sure that that will guarantee the future prosperity of this country. And we are also very sure that that will ensure that our children, when we are dead and gone, will also have the opportunity to lead this country. Democracy offers opportunity for everybody to have a voice and for everybody to have a say in our nation's affairs. Don't allow a good thing like democracy to become a bad thing for you or a bad thing for this country. Our fathers left this country to us in peace, and we must leave this country in peace for our children. We cannot leave this country in pieces for our children. In fact, we didn't grow up as refugees in another man's country. We grew up in the comfort of our homes, with our parents, and with our siblings, and with our communities, and with the people that we grew up with and attended school with. You could walk anywhere in this country at any time, to friends and everywhere, and you are happy. That is how our parents left this country for us. We want to leave this country for our children in the same way, and even in a better way. So let's not destroy this country. Any politician that will ask you to do something that is unlawful, in order to secure a victory for that politician does not deserve to rule this country or to lead this country. Don't do it. You know something? There are people who love you and who appreciate you. And if anything happens to you, those people's heart will be broken. Most of these people who love you are not the people who are seeking power. They're the people who are farming in the villages and struggling to find food for your younger siblings and for your younger cousins and for your other people that you have left in the village. Your mother suffered to bring you this far. Your father had to struggle to bring you this far. Don't let somebody's father's or somebody's mother's desire to have power cause you to lose your life or go to prison. Whilst I'm talking to citizens to behave and to ensure that this country will be in peace, I would also like to speak to the key institutions that will facilitate the upcoming election to also be on their guards. I want to ask the Electoral Commission to ensure that this election is very free and fair, and the generality of Ghanaians will accept the outcome of the election. I'm very excited and very happy that for the first time, a woman is leading the Electoral Commission. You know, I grew up among women. I have 5 sisters and my mother, 6 women around me. My big brother had traveled very early, so I grew up only among these women. I know the heart of women. I love women, I respect women, and I value women. And I believe that women are capable. And I know that the chairperson of the Electoral Commission will not disappoint women. I will not give room for chauvinists to raise their voice and to lift up their voice against women. And I want to encourage the chairperson to be vigilant, and we have confidence in you because you are a woman. You will lead this country in peace. Civil society must not take political positions. Civil society should be thinking about the people, not political parties. Be professional in your pronouncement, be professional in your research, and ensure that we will have peace in this country at the end of the election. Our chiefs have provided leadership at the local level, and they have contributed immensely to the development of Ghanaian democracy. And I'm very sure that our chiefs will not disappoint us again. The reason why the Constitution asks you not to get involved in politics is because your position is very revered. And please, don't soil and don't bring that position into disrepute. Keep your head above all things. I would also like to speak to pastors and prophets. The pulpit cannot be sacrificed for politics. The pulpit must be kept pure, and we must not prophesy if God has not spoken. And when God speaks, we must be very wise about the way we communicate to the public. But it's not everyone who will be able to handle it. Some of these prophecies will be very much appreciated if it is given to the person that the prophecy is about. Prophecy shouldn't be for showmanship. You are not prophesying for people to see that you are the best prophet. You are prophesying, you are speaking the mind of God and the voice of God. Be careful how you speak the voice and the mind of God to the people of this country. There have been preachers before you. They were very circumspect, and the church had contributed immensely and has served as partner for the development of this country. Let's not bring the church into dispute, and let's not put the church in the midst of the political game. We have to be very careful. Finally, I want you to know that in this country, we play 2 games. We play the game of football and the game of politics. With the game of football, it is safe to watch from the stands, because nobody will break your leg watching from the stands. But with the game of politics, it is not safe to watch from the stands. You must be on the field of play, and that's why you must be actively involved to decide your future. But do that within the confines of the law.
right then, moving on to some other issues today. Africa as a continent is missing its influence per its position on the globe because of two missing factors: good leadership and exploitation of natural and human resources. Well, I wish these are my words, but they are not. That's the words of the ex-president John Agyekum Kufuor sharing his experience as president of Ghana between the year 2001 and January 6, 2009. Former President Kufuor explains that Ghana, and for that matter Africa as a continent, will have advanced in development if the leaders at the helm of affairs took the right decisions and implemented the right policies that will inure to the benefit of the national good, with particular reference to investing in the human resource capital extensively. While he was speaking at a lecture organized by the JAK Foundation last night.
I had the big privilege and opportunity to try my hand at the helm of affairs, managing the states, presiding over the public sector, and at the same time using the public sector to facilitate and empower the private sector to create wealth, generate employment, and to help the nation move forward. By the end of my tenure, I had come to the firm conclusions that the missing factor denying us the chance to develop as we should on a sustained basis was good leadership. And that it was good leadership that would engender good governance, and it was the good governance of inclusiveness that would really yield the development that we all cried for. When I cast about around the continent of Africa, I saw that it was the same missing factor that perhaps could be blamed for plaguing this huge continent, sitting right in the middle of the continental arrangements of our globe.